Right now, as you're watching this, there are military icebreakers cutting through waters that no civilian ship is allowed to enter. There are research stations that appear on no public registry. There are flight paths over the southern continent that get rerouted without explanation. There are people, scientists, soldiers, contractors who sign agreements before they go and say almost nothing when they come back. This is not history. This is happening today. The question isn't whether something is being hidden in Antarctica. The question is how long it's been hidden and what started it all. In 2025, 3 separate satellite imaging companies detected new construction activity at locations in East Antarctica that have no publicly registered research purpose. These aren't extensions of existing stations. They're new sites, built in areas that are, according to the Antarctic Treaty, supposed to be open to inspection by any signatory nation at any time. Yet no inspection requests for these coordinates have been filed, none. When independent researchers submitted Freedom of Information requests asking whether these sites had been registered, they received either a delay past the legal response window or silence. That's not a conspiracy theory, that's a paper trail. In late 2024, a Chilean research team near the Antarctic Peninsula reported an encounter their own institution quietly buried. Their vessel was approached by an unregistered ship, no flag, no visible identification markings that shadowed them for 11 hours. When the team returned and filed their incident report, they were told the encounter would not be included in the public mission log. One member of that team later spoke to an independent journalist, not on record, not by name. He said one thing: we were told it was a matter of protocol. Antarctica is the most legally protected landmass on Earth. The Antarctic Treaty designates the entire continent as a scientific preserve. No military activity, no weapons testing, no resource extraction, open access for inspection. But there are 46 nations that have signed it, and the actual inspection mechanism has been used fewer than 20 times in 65 years. In a territory larger than Europe and the United States combined, 20 inspections. Think about what that means. If you wanted to do something you didn't want seen, and you knew the inspection rate was that low, you would know exactly how much room you had to operate. Hit that like button. It tells the algorithm this kind of work is worth surfacing, and it keeps this channel going. Between 2020 and 2026, commercial satellite operators captured imagery showing regularly spaced geometric formations beneath the ice sheet in at least 4 separate locations. These are not geological features. Geology doesn't produce right angles. Geology doesn't produce structures that appear to be oriented along magnetic meridian lines. 2 of these locations sit directly above subglacial lakes, bodies of liquid water sealed under kilometers of ice, completely isolated from the surface for potentially millions of years. There are over 400 subglacial lakes beneath Antarctica. We have directly sampled exactly one. The drilling project at Lake Vostok took over 30 years. The Russian team that completed it in 2012 found organisms living in conditions that should be completely incompatible with life. The findings were published, the samples were shared, but the raw data, the full drilling logs, the complete microbial analysis has never been released in full. Scientists outside the project have asked for access. They've been told the data is being prepared. That was 12 years ago. In 2023, a seismic monitoring network run by a consortium of universities detected a series of low-frequency pulses originating from a point approximately 900 kilometers from the South Pole. These pulses repeated at irregular intervals over 19 days. They didn't match any known geological signature. According to the team's own published analysis, they were consistent with large-scale mechanical activity at depth. The paper was downloaded over 40,000 times in its first week. Then the journal issued a notice saying it was under review for methodological concerns. No corrections have been identified. No retraction has been issued. It's just suspended. Things that challenge the official picture of Antarctica have a habit of going quiet. The Antarctic Treaty was signed on December 1st, 1959, in Washington, D.C. 12 nations. The original signatories included the United States, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, France, Argentina, Chile, Australia, and others. This was 1959. The Cold War was at its most volatile. The United States and the Soviet Union were in an arms race that had the entire world preparing for nuclear exchange. These two nations did not agree on anything, except Antarctica. In the single most tense geopolitical moment of the 20th century, both superpowers looked at this frozen continent and agreed to protect it together. They agreed so fast that the treaty was negotiated in under 18 months. A typical treaty of that complexity takes 5 to 10 years. Both sides wanted it done. Both sides wanted it done quickly. Ask yourself why. The inspection mechanism was designed to be so rarely used, and it doesn't explain what happened in the years immediately before the treaty was signed. Between 1946 and 1958, 3 major expeditions went to Antarctica. All 3 were military in nature, even when they claimed scientific purpose. The first was Operation Highjump in 1946, led by the United States Navy, with 13 ships, 23 aircraft, and over 4,000 men. The stated mission was to establish a research base. For that, you need maybe 2 ships and a few hundred people. They sent a battle group. Admiral Byrd, upon returning, gave a press conference in which he described encountering resistance, not environmental resistance, not logistical resistance. He used the word resistance without explaining it further. The recording exists. The transcript exists. It has never been officially addressed. The second expedition was Operation Windmill in 1947. Smaller, faster, classified above the level of its predecessor. Minimal public record. The third was Operation Deep Freeze, which began in 1955 and never officially ended. It has been running continuously for over 70 years. Its full operational mandate has never been declassified. 3 military expeditions, a treaty negotiated at impossible speed, a legal framework with almost no enforcement. Satellite imagery showing unexplained structures, seismic data that gets suppressed, ships with no flags, scientists who come back and say nothing. This is not a series of coincidences. Coincidences don't have this kind of shape. In 2017, a former contractor who worked logistics for a U.S. Antarctic support program gave an interview to a small independent outlet. He described receiving and distributing equipment listed in his manifests under generic scientific categories, but that physically did not match those descriptions. The equipment was heavier than listed. Some of it required power infrastructure that a standard research station doesn't have. He asked his supervisor about it once, just once. He was told to focus on the manifest as written. He was rotated out of the program 6 weeks later, earlier than scheduled, with a full payment and a non-disclosure agreement. He signed because he had a family and a mortgage. He's not a whistleblower. He's a man who saw something slightly wrong and made a practical decision. But he talked, eventually, because it stayed with him, because he still doesn't know what he was moving. Set it alongside the satellite imagery. Set it alongside the suspended seismic paper. Set it alongside Operation Highjump and the speed of the treaty. As of right now, in 2026, there are more active personnel in Antarctica than at any point since the Cold War. More nations with a physical presence, more construction, more restricted airspace, more ships in southern waters that don't appear on maritime tracking systems. The continent is more active than it has ever been, and the conversation about what's happening there is quieter than it has ever been. That gap between the activity and the silence is where the real question lives. If you've made it this far, subscribe. If you think the gap between what's official and what's real deserves someone paying attention, this channel is where that work happens. We started today, new construction, unregistered ships, a satellite record growing faster than any official explanation can account for. We went one layer down, the subglacial lakes, the withheld data, the seismic signal that went quiet in a peer-reviewed journal without anyone explaining why. We went back to the treaty and found a document built at impossible speed by nations that agreed on nothing else, with an enforcement mechanism so weak it's effectively decorative. And we found the expeditions that preceded it, military operations dressed as science, one of which has been running without interruption for 70 years. Every layer pointed the same direction, not toward a single answer, toward a single conclusion. Whatever Antarctica is being used for, the decision to keep it that way was made a long time ago, at the highest levels, across administrations, across generations. That's not bureaucratic inertia, that's intent. The ice is not hiding the past. The ice is hiding something that's still in use. Right now, today, someone is down there, moving equipment through a supply chain, monitoring instruments that aren't on any public registry, watching a subglacial lake that hasn't seen sunlight in 2 million years. And somewhere in a government building in Washington or Beijing or Moscow or Brussels, someone knows what they're looking for. And they have decided, very deliberately, that you don't get to know, not yet, maybe not ever, but they keep building, and satellites keep watching, and every so often, a seismic array picks up something that doesn't fit. And a paper gets suspended, and a ship disappears into a weather system, and a contractor signs an NDA and goes home and tries not to think about what was in those crates. The story isn't over. It's not even close to over. Leave a comment below with one word, the one word that describes how you feel right now. Having watched this to the end, I read everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.